is Isabel the bus.
Everybody, hope y'all are having a good day. I just got off work and wanted to touch base with everybody and just give you an update on where we are with the bus and what our plan is for the near future. So we plan on painting the exterior of the bus. We've actually been planning on doing it for about a year now. We finally have the bus in a place that's going to be fairly stationary for a while, that we can actually work on prepping the exterior and painting the exterior. So we don't have power where we're at. So a good thing is I was able to find a cordless orbital sander from Lowe's on a really good deal. And I'll be able to take that out to the bus, which is about 15 minutes from where we're staying right now. And I'll be able to do some sanding, you know, a couple hours every day and slowly work at it that way. We realized with just the size of our family and how much Kate and I both work, that any project that seems like it should only take a few days is more likely going to take us a few weeks, and we are okay with that. It's just adjusting to that schedule or that time frame. As long as we can mentally prep ourselves for that, then, you know, all is well. It just helps us from getting our expectations way too high. A while back we did a video having people vote on what our bus paint job would look like, so I will repost that just in case any of you have forgotten. We will repost it. We still plan on painting the bus that with that design really close to it, if not exactly looking like it, and the colors being pretty much what that design was as well. So again, look forward to getting it painted. We're super excited, and we'll keep you guys updated. Hey everybody, got my cordless orbital sander here I was telling you about, and a 60 grit sanding pad. So we'll see how this goes. Hey guys, so I gotta say, this little Cobalt orbital sander is a workhorse. Let's see if I can give you a good view here of how she looks. You can see where the sander, this was just on the one power setting of the sander, and it was already taking off some of the paint. So if you look really close here, you can see the discoloration, or how the all the gloss is gone off of the front of the bus, which is ultimately what we're trying to go for. I'm not trying to sand it down completely to bare metal, and just trying to get that gloss off, so that way it makes the surface rough. That way we can go ahead and clean it off and then actually apply some new paint to it, so just giving it a better surface to stick to. So to give you an idea, because I couldn't get underneath this part here, I don't know if you can tell the sun, how glossy it is. There you go, that's a better shot there. You can see it's still glossy right here, because I couldn't get there with the orbital sander, but you can tell the difference from that shot. So yeah, we're gonna continue pressing on. That was only about 20-30 minutes of work. The front is almost completely done. I'm not sure if we're gonna do the bumper yet, and then continue on to the sides. Hey everybody, so I am just getting here to the bus. It is super windy today. I hope I can get some good video, but also I just hope that I can get some productive work done. I don't have a lot of time, like I was saying before. Worst case scenario, I'll do some work inside of the bus. But man, I can't believe how windy it is out. And it's cold. The good thing is, the kids aren't with me because they really would not have liked how windy it is out here. So I'm gonna get started and show y'all what we're working on. Another thing I wanted to mention, I brought my measuring tape and I completely forgot that I did, but that's why I stuck it in my pocket because I knew I would forget. I want to measure the headlights on the bus. For those of you who have a bus or those of you who just aren't aware of it, most buses don't have great headlights on them, especially these older models. I have a 2004 International. You can imagine how bad the lights are on it, and it's, you know, they're not LED or anything special. So driving at night was horrible, horrendous, so much to where I just avoided doing it because you cannot see anything. I mean, it's when I turn on the brights, it looks like almost standard lights. So I brought my measuring tape so I can measure the headlights, because from some videos that I've seen, I can't remember who they were from, but some videos that I saw, you can order them off of Amazon and they're fairly cheap. We're talking like maybe 10-15 bucks a headlight, if all is well. If that's what I read or saw correctly. And I also saw that it should be fairly easy to just take out the old ones and put the new ones in just by the plug. So we'll see. We'll see, but yeah, I'm also gonna look at that while I'm out here. So I quite literally just got off of this video, was going outside to work on the bus, and I slipped and fell all the way down the stairs. I'm fine, but man, that hurt. And working on the bus isn't always glamorous. Just wanted to put that out there. I also decided after walking back out there, I'm not going to get a video of what I'm doing today. I'm just going to try to get some still shots for you because it is so windy. There's no way my tripod's going to stay up. So, but if I work on the inside, I'll let y'all know or take videos of that. So, it is really cold outside. I got a lot of the... I think I'm done with the front, at least. I'm actually very happy with how it's turned out so far. The orbital sander did most of the work for me when I was here a few days ago. It did probably 95% of the sanding for me. That was with a 60 grit round disc, my orbital sander. So then what I did is I hand sanded today. I used the discs that I had already used previously that weren't all the way worn down, and I just used those and went over by hand in all of the areas that were obviously still glossy and still needed sanded. It's really easy to determine which portion I already sanded and which portion needed done more. So let me take you out there and show you. It is extremely windy out, like I said, so hopefully you can hear me and get a good visual of it. Okay, so my plan, and there's different videos of people painting their buses out there. So my plan is to do a little bit at a time. So I'm not going to prep the whole bus and do the whole bus at once. We're also going to hand paint it as opposed to spraying. There is some other vehicles around us, so we don't want to have any overspray get on anybody else's bus, but also we've used a spray gun before at our house, and it used just a boatload more paint than what we really wanted to use. So it's a 40-foot bus, so it's going to take a good amount of paint, but if we hand roll it, it's going to be a lot better. So my plan is to focus on, I'm going to do from these rivets down the front, basically down to the bumper. I sanded all this. I don't know if you can tell, kind of you see where that reflective tape is here. So this portion right here and on over is not sanded. And this portion where the rivet line is, on over that way, is sanded. So all the front is sanded now, and I think this will give you a better visual here. You can see kind of the discoloration of it. Oddly enough, the thing that has been hardest to get off is our Taco Bell's Mariscal sticker. So I'm gonna have to hit that with either a heat gun or a magic wheel and get that off. But we'll need to do that anyways for the rest of the stickers on the bus. So again, as I go around here, it's gonna be the same thing. Sorry, it's kind of bright here, but from these rivets on down to the bumper, which is kind of nice because the door cuts it off there. All that is sanded, and that's what I'm going to be focused on doing first. So as I said before, there's different videos of people painting their buses. My plan is to do it in portions. Plus, winter is coming here. We are in New Hampshire right now, northern New Hampshire, southern Maine. Winter's coming. As you can tell, I said it's 45-50 degrees out right now. So the probability of me being able to finish sanding the whole bus and painting it, plus getting all the stickers off before winter comes, it's October, I think 17th, it's really highly unlikely. So I'm just going to do it in portions. That way I also don't leave any exposed metal open over the winter. When you're sanding, there's going to be some spots that you just over sand, which I did, and they're going to have exposed metal, which there is. No worries. So what I'm going to do is tape all that off, and then I'm going to paint primer over all that part that I already did. That way that portion is done. It's not going to be the final color, but if for some reason over the winter I'm not able to get back out here and get back to it, at least the primer's on there, the exposed metal is covered, and the priming portion's done. So then ideally, if I don't get it done, then I can come out when the weather warms back up, spray down the primer, wipe it down really good, and then at least at that point I can just focus on putting the final layer of paint on there. That's the plan. As we all know, things never go to plan with a bus. So that is where we're at. That's what I'm working on. We'll see how it goes. So I've decided I'm not going to work anymore outside just because of how windy and cold it is. But I did get out there and I measured the headlight assembly. I have again, it's a 2004 International and rear engine. I measured the headlight assembly. It is 6 1/4 inches in height by 12 inches wide. So if anybody else out there has a similar bus, I'm going to assume that the headlights are similar in size. So that way once I post what I find, hey, it may save you a step from measuring yours, and you can just go ahead and order yours, and we'll see if the new ones I buy are as easy to install as what I've seen. Hey guys, I apologize. My tripod is broken and I don't have the right tools here to help me fix it. So I'm trying to do this video. If you could see my camera right now, you'd probably be laughing because it's stacked up on a bunch of things. But anyways, so what I'm going to work on now, since I'm not going to go back outside, this RV stove top is actually just filthy and I want to take it off. So I'm going to just remove these screws. I didn't install this, so I don't quite know what it looks like under here. So we're going to see how this goes. There's just 2 screws on top, and hopefully my tools suffice because I preemptively emptied the bus for the most part and took my tools back to our house. So let's see. And by the way, our propane is off. Okay. Well, that was fairly simple. It was just those 2 screws there. I'm afraid to show you what it looks like under here because it's so filthy. Sorry, so filthy dirty. But yeah, there she is. It's good to know too because I have dropped food down there, and apparently there's some Carcassonne, or I'm sorry, not Carcassonne, Settlers of Catan pieces in here that I had no idea were in here. When you find Settler of Catan pieces in your stove, under your stove top, and it's a 3-in-1, you're like, whoa, that's a big deal. If you've played Settlers, you understand. So anyways, here's the what the underneath the stove top looks like, and then there looks like there's just these 4 screws here holding it in. And another reason I wanted to take this off was because, one, we need to look underneath our stove top, because when our bus was built, our oven is right beneath it, but there, if you notice, there's no vent. So when we noticed that our curtains started changing color on the bottom, and more importantly, our wall. So what was happening was, when we turned our oven on, all the heat was getting trapped underneath between our countertops and our cabinets, and we used the oven fairly good amount until we realized, when we opened up the drawers, how much heat was coming out. So basically, when our bus was built, they didn't properly vent it. So that's something else I need to work on. So I need to work on venting our oven so we can use it regularly, because at one point we just stopped using it because it was getting so hot, and we were thankful that none of our curtains or the wood or anything caught on fire. So something else we need to work on. So I need to remove this and get under there and take a look at what the venting situation looks like. Plus, our wood, we absolutely love our wood. It's been kind of a pain to seal it regularly. So, I mean, you guys tell me what you think. Our wood is absolutely beautiful. I don't plan on changing the wood at all. It's just, like I said, it's been a really pain to seal it. It's just this. It says we use the Milk Paint brand, which we love. We absolutely love, and we love the way that it looks on the wood. We love the way that it smells. But it's just, it still seems like no matter how much we seal it, it's not completely sealed. And I'm not saying that it's not. It just doesn't seem. We want to protect our wood. We want to make sure that it stays as beautiful as it is. So I want to talk to Kate. I want to see if she'll be willing to let me epoxy it. What do you guys think? Should we keep the wood as it is and deal with sealing it? So here's the thing. When we seal it, it has to be lightly sanded, and then it has to be the seal, the milk paint oil needs to go down, and it takes a minimum of 4 hours up to 24 hours for the first coat. It is recommended to do at least 2 coats, but if you could do 3 or more, it's better. We don't always have the time or the space to do that. With us living in the bus when we're in here full time, if it needs resealed, that means we're going a whole, basically 2 to 3 days trying not to use one whole side of the countertop, which doesn't happen because we have to eventually use it to prep food, or the kids are going to pour a bowl of cereal, because once we're in here, we have all of our stuff in here, so we need the counter space. If I epoxy it with where the bus is now, I could do the few layers, or even the 1 layer. I can't remember how many you do for epoxy, but I could do that. It can sit out here, it can completely cure, and not that epoxy doesn't need taken care of as well, but it's not going to need to be sealed by at least twice a year. But really, in all honesty, we probably sealed our wood like three to 4 times, or no, I'm sorry, 2 to 3 times in the 5 or 6 months that we're in it, just because it just didn't feel like it was sealing right. So let me know. Let us know what you think. Again, should we keep the wood kind of as it is? or should we epoxy it, which is gonna, and for those of you who aren't aware, it'll just give it a nice bright gloss, not bright, but a nice gloss or sheen over all the wood. You'll still be able to see the color of the wood. It'll just keep it, and it'll be great for preventing water spillage and all that. Let us know. Okay, again, so part of the reason we wish we would have done our own bus build is because we don't know what is going on or how stuff was put together. I told you already how there's no venting to the oven underneath. So now what I have to do is take off this stove top to see what everything looks like underneath for the venting purposes of the oven. So I went ahead and I took out the 2 screws that were holding in the stove top, and then there was 4 additional screws that were holding in the plate of the stove top. Let me see how easily this pulls up. Actually, look at that. Okay. Well, good news is I didn't have to take that off at all because I see now the propane hose is here. And now I see what I wanted to for the oven. So, I mentioned before how we did not build the bus. We hired a company to do it. And we stopped using our oven because we noticed how much moisture and heat was getting caught underneath. Oh my God. I just pulled this piece of wood out from underneath. So I don't know if this is from moisture buildup or the heat. That is not good. You can see my concern. That is a whole under part of the countertop. Okay, so I'm sorry. Let me get back on track here. So we didn't do the build. So over here, see if I can show you. There is a vent exhaust right here. Okay, I looked up the manual that says this oven is supposed to have another metal piece that goes from here straight up to here, come out here, and then just have like a little vent. So that way, when we use the oven, it can be vented. Well, guess what? That wasn't done when our bus was built. So that's something else I have to work on. But I'm glad I got under there, but I'm a little concerned now because this piece of wood just randomly came off underneath the countertop. I don't know if I can get a good enough view to show y'all. There's always something with the bus. Let's see if I can get it to focus here. The wood looks really, and I'm thinking it's because so much moisture was getting trapped underneath because it wasn't properly vented, which is very aggravating because, you know, we paid X amount of dollars for this bus to be built. And it's little things like that that should have been caught. Plus we paid a good amount of money for this wood. And it's, again, very frustrating. Bus life. So the good news is, after further inspection of the wood that was in the encased area between the oven and the stovetop, is all the wood underneath there is good, except for the underneath of the countertop. The underneath of the countertop isn't bad per se, but I can see 3 spots where there's cracking to the wood, or to where they had put multiple pieces of the wood together and they glued it together, and that glue has almost completely went away. And again, it's probably from the heat and the moisture that was getting trapped underneath there because they didn't properly vent the stove or the oven. So it's frustrating, but I think it's okay. I think we'll be able to manage. I should be able to fill those cracks in. I'm gonna sand everything down, and then I think if I epoxy over it, it'll help also strengthen that bond between where they were supposed to be bonded together. It's frustrating, but at least the rest of the wood underneath there seems to be good. So I'm at least happy about that. All right, y'all, let me show you what I was working on today. Since my tripod's been giving you issues, I wasn't able to get video of what I was actually doing, or while I was doing it. But this is what I have been working on. So this wood, since we got the bus, has been bowed about right here, just right in the middle. So anytime we sat something down, it would wobble a lot. So I have been working on sanding that. Kind of hard to show you how much more level it is now compared to what it was. But you can see where I focused a lot of the sanding on was this slab, which these were individual pieces of slab, which you can see the lines right here. These were individual slabs, so when they put them together, they just weren't all completely even. So I figured, since I had the sander here with me and I wasn't working on the outside of the bus anymore, that I would go ahead and work on that. Let's see, I have the top of the stove off here that I'm going to take back home with me. I took a picture of the model number of the oven. That way I can find the correct vent piece that's supposed to be there, that's not there. And then I'm going to have to drill a hole into the top of the counter on the stove side. I'll have to drill a hole for the vent to come up through, so that way the propane can exhaust the way that it's supposed to, and we can actually use our oven. Realize I need to clean this. Got to get the piece that goes to that oven for the propane exhaust, so that way we can use our oven correctly. I finished hand sanding the front of the bus. So now I just need to tape and prep the front of the bus, and then I'm going to get, if I didn't mention it, I'm going to get Rust-Oleum white direct to metal primer, I think it is. It's either Rust-Oleum or Kills from the local Home Depot. I can't remember which brand they have for the primer, but it's just going to be white direct to metal primer, and that's what I'm going to use to prime the whole bus. Again, right now I'm not worried about paint color and all that, which I already know what we're doing because y'all voted on it last year. And again, I'll repost the picture of what that's eventually going to look like, or the inspiration for what the bus is going to look like. But in the meantime, I'm done today and I'm heading home. Actually, I lied. In the meantime, I'm done for the day. I am headed to go get Bella, and we'll see how her haircut turned out. Thing, I am not forgetting my 3-to-1 Settlers of Catan piece. So I just picked up Bella. Bella. These dogs a little dirty, I know, but it's because she's got that white fur. She smells clean. She's so good in comparison to what she has been all year. She's happy. We're happy.